Well, I'm teaching. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I gotta report about her. You're wrong. If I did-
Yeah. Yes. It's so dark outside.
I know, yeah, and I forgot to plug in the mic when I came in. I gotta set up the laptops and stuff, so I come early in case it doesn't work. Plenty of time to start over.
And that little solar light that they put up doesn't work, this. Over
I
there,
put that up and I changed the battery and it still doesn't work.
yeah. Maybe it just doesn't get enough sun with the sun so low. Yeah, but the sun is so low these days, it's just not shining.
But I don't know what else,
Yeah.
what else to do.
I have these really cheap ones on my fence that have been there for 5 years and they work really fine.
And there's in full sun.
No,
Oh.
yeah, a couple of them face away from the morning sun and then they get a little bit until the sun gets beyond my house and then they get nothing again. But they're the, maybe cheap is better.
Well, I mean, this is expensive.
Yeah. Electrically.
Just loads. See any of camera, Fox News.
No. I saw,
She's a prosecutor.
I heard, I hear Susan,
Oh, I'm
you're gonna
fine.
be over there.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, let's get this.
No, I'm fine.
All right,
I just move slowly.
don't we all? Yeah, I think I got it all set up. No, I don't, something moved. Okay.
Anyway, I thought I'd look it up on YouTube. I'd like to see hear the whole thing and just just a
Oh,
little peek.
I
of it.
heard, yeah, that's what I heard, well, didn't see, I heard on NPR, a little clip of it. With her, will you let me finish? I need to finish. Yes. Are you giving away money, Susan? If I put my hand out?
No.
Please?
That's for a bottle of olive oil.
I need to buy a bottle of olive oil.
I'm out.
It's out.
The nerve.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
It's a good problem.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's see, what else?
I like your color coordination.
It's a purple day.
It is. Every day should be a purple day.
Even my pillow.
There you
Yes.
go. You got a theme.
You know, maybe that is,
Hmm.
that might be state land,
Might what?
be state property, that flood.
Good.
I mean, it's kind of a hodgepodge down there. There's Korean has some. Um, the highway patrolman, who was like, I think she was Garibaldi.
She's what?
She's a Garibaldi,
Oh,
and I think they inherited some land down there. They're down there.
oh, yeah, at the land trust, we looked at that land years ago, because they were trying to sell it.
We have a camera going.
Turn the microphone.
Oh,
I can turn on the
I think it was better shut up.
You know, we can turn the microphone. Cause you
No,
can
that-
get it on.
No, don't worry about it.
I just don't know if it's going to the YouTube channel yet, in which case we don't know broadcast.
Okay, no. I'll have to go in there. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Could help him.
We're good. Nice. Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's, she's out.
Hi.
All right.
Welcome, it's 7 o'clock. The meeting is called to order. Sorry, I was about to adjourn already. So thank you all. All right. What?
And,
No, Dan's out of town.
no,
Yes.
Okay.
So tonight we want to welcome and thank Lizzie Goff for stepping up and saying that she would fill in tonight to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So please come up.
I
Pledge
pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Oh, it can go to somebody in the audience. I've got one. Nope, I've got one, thank you. So roll call and establish a quorum.
All right, Mayor, thank you. At this point, we will excuse Council Member Kel Artinian. She did notify the council that she would be out of town this evening, so we'll start with our other council members. Council Member Ambrosselli. Present. Council Member Bragstad.
Here.
Council Member Cheryl. Here. And Mayor Staples.
Here, thank you.
I can't speak. That does constitute a quorum. Mayor, I'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the city council regular meeting agenda for tonight, the 17th of October, 2024. There's one change to the agenda. We will not have a closed session tonight, so please put a strike through item 12 and 13 on the draft agenda that was distributed. With that one change, is there a motion to approve the city council regular agenda for this evening?
second,
Thank you. Let's do roll call vote since we're being recorded. Nico?
Aye.
Susan? Bruce?
aye.
But with the draft agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Under provisions of the California Code, citizens wishing to address City Council for any matter not on the agenda may do so at this time. Comments are limited to 5 minutes or less. Under provisions of the California Code, the City Council cannot take action unless an urgent need arose after the posting of the agenda. A reminder that we are live streaming, so if you please stand, if you can project, and if you have a soft voice, come on up closer to the table so the microphone can pick up your comments. Is there public comment this evening?
Carry on, and I wanted to ask why the Ledger newspaper box was moved to such an inconvenient location for our community.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's not a matter we can address at this time, but I thank you for the comment. We'll be glad to put it on the agenda next time if you would like.
Where was it?
Why can we
Where
not
is it
address
now?
that?
Can I address it?
It's public comment. You can address, it can be an agenda item. No vote can be taken, but there can be a discussion on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Where was it and where is it now?
It was next to the flagpole, which was next to the post office, and now it's over next to our building.
It's next to the fire station on the side of the
The
building.
building we're renting, yes, it's next to the building we rent.
Yeah, I wonder where it went.
There's a sign right there on the community board.
This is a letter another merchant has asked me to present that they couldn't be here.
Would you like to
so-
read it?
It goes beyond the ledger box. Because we now also have the free paper box and the garbage can that were in front of the Imperial, and I'm not sure why we acquired those either. This is city council. We noticed the ledger dispatch box has been moved. Reasons to return it to the former location. Perfect location and access. easy access for Amador City residents being close to the post office. It was there for a number of years. Why now? I believe residents would prefer the former location. Please consider this request. Thank you, Dan and Patty Sheets.
Thank you. I will address why it's moved. It was on private property and the merchant, the mountain merchant, also without city permission, came in and put up and chained their dispenser, again, on private property. And the individuals who owned each private property called and asked to have them moved since it was private property and wanted it on city property. So it is now on city property. That patio area is not patio that you are renting. So
No,
that's why it's there.
I'm confused. The box and the garbage can that were over at Imperial, I thought that was city property.
The garbage can was blocking the ramp access to cross the street from End of Nowhere to the Imperial. That's the one I moved. The one in front of the Imperial is still at the Imperial.
It's gone.
I moved the one that was at the crosswalk.
At Chris's?
No, on the Imperial side.
No, I moved that one. That one,
No,
I
moved it.
personally moved that a month ago because we wanted a second garbage can because of all the garbage that was being collected. I have a photo of the garbage can and the container for the newspapers that were in front of Imperial and have been there for a number of years. Those are now in front of, next to our store. It looks like we are a garbage dispenser and we don't appreciate it. I think it's very sad. We have 3 garbage cans on our counter corner, not counting the 2 in the bathrooms. We don't need 5 garbage cans on one corner. Maybe we need to get rid of a garbage can or 2. Maybe the city doesn't need that many. They surely don't need to be on my corner because we don't have that many merchant people coming into our corner. So,
Thank you for your input.
Pat, do you want it as an agenda item?
I'm sorry, do what?
Sorry, would you like it as an agenda item for next month?
I guess if that's what it's gotta be.
Well, it doesn't have to be. I'm just asking if you're requesting an agenda item.
Yes, can I request a second agenda item for next meeting now?
If you have another public comment, absolutely.
Yes, regarding the painting of our building and fixing our window, we have not heard anything on that and the winter's coming. So that's something we addressed 6 months ago.
The painting of the building will be done on a schedule. The window will be done before winter comes. That's on me to do it. So I need to work on it.
It's not an agenda item if we can
That's
get that
not-
done.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes,
About I'm not so worried about the garbage cans as Kat is, but I really do worry about the ledger. I've had a couple of people say to me, why do we have to now go across the street? It used to be so convenient next to the post office. And now, and some people said, someone said to me, why don't we have the Ledger Dispatch anymore? And I explained to them that it's over there. So I just want you guys to take that into consideration.
okay, I will respond globally to that and then we can take it further and when it's an agenda item. It does need to be on city property and I've informed the Ledger Dispatch of the move and that it was put in a location where their drivers would have easy access because that is one of the considerations. We have to have easy access for the drivers that are dropping off the papers. And it does need to be on city property. Property owners have asked that it be moved from where it was.
So we got complaints from the property owner.
Yes,
I thought the sidewalk was also the property.
no. And the Ledger Dispatch, which was not on the sidewalk. So, but thank you. Okay,
Maybe we can put it on the sidewalk.
We don't know.
no, we don't on the
We don't
sidewalk.
do the sidewalk?
No. Is there any other public comment this evening? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next item. There are no presentations, proclamations, appointments, or correspondence at this time. Moving on to item 7. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and be enacted in one motion in the form listed. There'll be no separate discussion of the items unless before the council votes to adopt them, there is a request to address them separately. The 2 items are the regular meeting agenda minutes of 19 September 2024 and the financial report. Is there any request to address them separately? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items at this time?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Okay. So we have a
I
sweet,
don't know if we're having a report on the insurance and the building, but would that?
That's not,
that's
Would
not,
that be under the financial report?
no,
I'll speak to that in the city manager
Okay.
report.
okay.
But, so you have we have a single motion.
We have a motion now to approve the consent agenda items as they are submitted, the regular meeting agenda minutes and the financial report. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. With that, we'll do roll call vote. Nico, Bruce,
Aye.
Susan. The motion to approve the consent agenda items is approved, so we will move on. No ordinance or public hearings. The regular agenda items, reminder, there are 3 stages for consideration. The item will be read. Then the council member or the applicant who submitted the item will offer more detail. It will go to public comment for discussion and then come back to city council for discussion, and then we'll take action on it. So the first item on the agenda is sewer pond, discussion and possible action regarding a needed improvement to the sewer pond filtration system.
That's mine this evening. So I did speak to Grant Reynolds today. He apologizes for not being here. An oversight on his calendar. It is his 40th anniversary this evening. So I told him that I would handle it for him, and he was appreciative of that.
Yeah,
So what it is our sewer system, as you know, recently underwent improvements with brand new pumps, which Susan were the design and the type of pump that you were worried about for water pump for movement. The problem that we now face with our sewer pond is we are seeing an uptick in the type of things that are being flushed down the toilets. With manufacturing producing different paper goods such as wipes and other things, which some of them do say flushable, which are absolutely not flushable. The problem is they're getting into our pumps, and that's one of the things that tears up our pumps. And so a consultant has come to us and they've recommended, and I sent it to sent it to
I have.
Sandy today.
mhm. You want-
The proposal, if you'll just show that to the council members. So what it is we have a filtration system, which is basically a screen that attempts to filter most of those items out. It is inadequate. and if we-
Before it gets to the pump.
Before it gets to the pumps.
Mhm.
So the problem is it's inadequate for the pumps that we have, and so that's one of the things that's tearing up our pump. And so the problem is if we don't update the filtration system, it's going to void the warranties on our brand new pumps. And so what it is this new manifold system allows for a main filter that will catch most of that with 3 sub filters. Now, Grant did tell me at the current time, we would not need all 3 sub filters. We would be able to limit that to 2, but the manifold has an option of a 3rd one. And he recommended that option be included for later upgrades, so it's there. The thing is that you have the price on that, Sandy?
This doesn't have the price.
Okay, so the attachment that I thought I sent, we have let me just get it for you really quickly. There's the, it's not cheap, but again, this will help us avoid the problem of losing our filters. So let me just share this with you. And I can send it to the printer really quick, but essentially there's the filter manifold design, materials installation. You're looking at about $8,000. And the reservoir suction screen replacement materials and installation is another $8,500. So it is not cheap, but it essentially will ensure that we don't have things going into our pumps. So, and the point that I want to make is this is cheaper than what we've already paid as a city by having our pumps down and having Sweet Pea come and pump our system because we can't do it ourselves. And so it's really at the council's behest now to look at this and make a decision. And the quicker we do it, the better off we are. So I'll just send this to the printer really quick.
And how long does the filter last?
Mhm.
You know, that's a good question, Susan, that's one thing that I didn't anticipate you asking, and so. I can't honestly answer that. This is the sale, this is the invoice. Let me just,
You know, we've used water pumps forever in the past. And
right,
saying it's the new products.
it's the new products that are causing these problems. And again, the situation that we face is, as a city, we have a unique pump system, as you're aware, with the special pumps we use for our system. Which again, we saw the time that it took. Those pumps, they just not like they pulled them off the shelf, they had to manufacture those pumps for our system. And so it took 6 months for us to actually get the pumps after we ordered them, to get them there and installed. Now, we do have 2 brand new pumps, and we have one of the old pumps that is, if we had to, was working when it was taken out of the system, and we retained that pump as my belief. So that if something happens, we could put it in place, but it is the last ditch effort. So this is more of an insurance policy going forward to protect our pumps and our systems. I know, not cheap, but a definite need.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Did you get several quotes? Or did
No,
you just
this-
go to one company?
This is the one company that does that type of system. So this comes with, at the recommendation of Grant Reynolds and Greg Woods. So, and again, we have to understand, they're the ones that are cleaning it out every day. And so, you know, it's working now, but again, they're seeing things get into our brand new pump, and that's why they're pushing for this. So,
Now this is 5,000.
no, it's 16,000. I
Altogether.
think you guys
We've
divided.
got, yeah, we've got
Oh,
two
we have
different
2 different
pages.
ones.
Mhm,
Oh.
mhm. Mhm. This
Sorry, I
is-
printed multiple copies.
This is the kind of stuff I'd like to see.
But, yeah,
Wait, can I see?
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
well,
Have we budgeted anything for the sewer pond this year?
mm-hmm,
Okay.
It's a light agenda tonight. Let's give it time.
It is. So we can take a minute to look at this. So what is at this particular point, I'm gonna ask two questions related to this. Most of the time, for anything over $5,000, we have to go to bid, but for something like this that is highly specialized, there's no like,
No,
Catalog
that's
of
the thing.
things, of
And
options.
Grant Reynolds is well aware of that
Yes.
requirement.
mhm,
And so, again, I wish he were here for that question,
Mhm.
but my understanding in speaking to him
mhm,
about a month and a half ago
mhm,
is that this is the one company that produces that and can
Mhm.
install it in connection with our pumps. So again,
Uh-huh.
if you ask for it to be put out to bid, you're gonna still end up with the same bid. And so, and he has asked, this is the other part too that Grant wanted me to emphasize, because I did speak to him today. He emphasized that those are rough numbers
mhm,
that are high, so it's not, it shouldn't come in above that, it should actually come in below that.
mhm.
It doesn't say it includes installation, it includes labor.
I don't think you have the right page, Susan.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't see labor anywhere.
You have the first page, Susan,
Yes,
so
Okay.
page number 1.
This
as-
is two.
this is the one.
Okay.
1 is materials and installation,
This is
as well as on the first FI 001. And then PU 001, both say materials and installation.
Installation.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Installation.
good. Thank
There we
you.
go. Got it. Thank you,
Right-
Dave.
Right in front of us.
Bold type. Thank you.
And we have the money.
You have the money
We do.
in the budget for the sewer.
Mhm.
And again, this is an improvement to the sewer. So it would fall under, again,
Mhm.
improvement to the sewer because And also the money that we have to care for the sewer, it falls under that because, you know, with that 400,000 that was recommended when we do the sewer study.
That was.
This falls underneath that as a capital improvement. Because again, that capital improvement is saving on wear and tear. And again, you know, here's the problem. What we saw earlier this summer, when our pumps went down, we can't handle the waste that the city produces. And so then we have to hire to an outside firm to keep that waste down. Otherwise, we have a spill, and then we're not talking $16,000, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mhm. I can see some study of the paperwork, so we'll.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I did not, at this particular point, I did not turn it over to public comment or question at this point, but earlier, I'm really sorry about that. While they are looking at paperwork, is there any question or comment from the general public? Thank you. I'm sorry. I want to apologize for that.
Well, we were still in the midst of discussion,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. Mhm.
We have the money. We should
Yeah.
We
do it.
at this point within our financials, well, let me flip to that. Granted the sewer budget here, and that is in the financials we looked at. If you look at what was budgeted for that, and so far what we have used, we have of remaining budget for what we have in we have 78% of what we have budgeted left at this point in the year, and 90% of materials left. 95% of transmission, so overall, we have money budgeted that would take care of a breakdown that would come up, taking care of something emergency. Now, if it was a huge thing, we would have to go look at other revenues and other sources of funding. But in terms of this expenditure, we do have the budget that will cover this right now.
Well, I'll reluctantly move to approve.
Yes.
I'll
It's,
second that.
it's one of those situations where, if we decline doing this kind of protection for the brand new pumps that have just been put in, we may undermine the life of those pumps.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it seems like a worthwhile investment. And I have seen their notices put up on the board for the last 5 years. It's been more and more common to have other paper products enter our sewer system that are not really manageable.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's the thing too. And what Grant did say is that if we don't manage our pumps, we can, in a sense, void the warranties as well.
oh,
So right now, they currently under warranty if something happens, right? Probably
Mhm.
manufacturer's
hmm,
warranty, so we don't want to risk that as well because they are under a rebuild period. That, if we don't follow the proper procedures and have the right equipment, then it's on us.
Has there been any talk to the company that sold us the pumps?
But no, because the pumps are running fine at this point. So this is not something that the pump manufacturer is going to recommend. They assume that you already have it in your system. So this is an upgrade that probably should have been done years ago to our system to keep those types of things out of our pumps.
Well, hopefully the cost will come in a bit lower.
I hope so too. And Grant was hopeful as well too. So
okay. Okay, are there any questions or comments from the general public? Any further discussion from city council? Do we have a motion to approve the expenditure of the estimate at this point of $16,500 for the filter system that will protect our
I
new
made a
pumps?
motion that we do.
Is there a second? You do it.
I'll second.
We have a second. So we will do a roll call vote. Nico, Bruce, Susan, great. So the motion has been approved to go forward on acquiring the filter system that will protect our new pumps going forward.
So with the council's approval, I will reach out to Grant Reynolds and share that information, have them move forward.
Thank you, thank you. Item 9B on the agenda is Sutter Creek Elementary, discussion and possible action that the Amador City become a sponsor at the gold level or higher for the 2024 Sutter Creek Elementary School Walkathon. And the attachments that were included in the packet were an email from a parent, Holly Groth, who's here tonight. And the sponsor form for the 2000 Walkathon for businesses and families. Holly, do you want to make a comment or have us read your email?
Sure.
Okay,
So this fundraiser, this walkathon fundraiser goes to fund the music, art and PE programs. Or I guess they call them enrichment programs. They have extra teachers come in and work with the kids specifically for music, art and PE.
and creative writing.
Yes, creative writing. And these fundraisers completely fund those enrichment programs. It's not paid for by the school district at all. And so we have lots of kids here in our city that go to Sutter Creek Elementary. So we thought maybe the city would be willing to be a sponsor this year.
Be a sponsor of the walkathon, and then, thank you. And then on the sponsor form, which is due November 1st, they have different categories of sponsorship, and so we can look at, you know, a gold level sponsor is $500. There are various other levels within there, so we can talk as a community and then as a council about first sponsoring and then at what level to sponsor. Is there any comment from anyone in the public tonight? City council discussion or comments?
Which one are we thinking about? I think it's,
Mhm.
I'm all for it. I mean, education is
Mhm.
the most important thing.
Yes, and these are areas that, again, have been taken out of the curriculum over the past number of years,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, yes.
Yes,
So,
I support it too,
mhm.
but I'm a cheapskate.
Well, the gold sponsor is smack in the middle. Diamond sponsors $1,000.
And that's too much
Yeah.
for me.
And then a friend of the walkathon is $25. I think the city can do a little better than a friend, yeah. Silver sponsor is $250 and a gold sponsor is $500 and a platinum sponsor is $750. This is money that we probably would look at taking out of promotion. And on our budget with promotion, I'll go back to our fiscals for a moment. Within that, we had allocated, I believe, I'm looking for that. That's on the overall budget, $4,000.
The promotion.
Mhm.
4,000 for the year.
Yeah, and we've used 1,250, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have, you know, we have money that we have budgeted for such things as this, supporting other activities that will put our city's name out there. So we do have the budget for that of whatever portion we decide to allocate. Any discussion over the amount to sponsor? We seem to be thinking positively about being a sponsor.
Well, I think we should.
Yeah, I agree.
Agree.
Yeah.
And
Just
I would
What are we
suggest
comfortable
platinum,
with?
but you know,
I
I'll just throw it
know.
out there, but. if you
Okay,
wanna-
platinum. Yeah, you want to meet in the middle, Susan?
What's the middle?
500,
I'd support that.
okay.
Yeah.
Then is there a motion for Amador City to become a gold sponsor for the 2024 walkathon at Sutter Creek Elementary School?
So move.
A second.
Second,
So we do a roll call vote. Nico?
Aye.
Bruce?
aye.
Susan? Motion is approved. We will fill out the paperwork and be sponsors for the 2025 walkathon. Thanks for the cheerleading squad
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Nice, okay. So item 9C on the agenda is just discussion of the decision regarding Amador City's application for grant funds through the LEAP program, the Local Early Action Planning Grant Award. We got our letter of award, which is included in the packet. It was long overdue, and we are being awarded $65,000. It's a conditional commitment, and then they will be contacting us further to move ahead with our application, and that's included in there too with regard to what we stated we would be using the money for. So it's just an announcement that our grant has been approved. So with that, there's no action on that item. Any discussion, however? Other than yay. Okay,
Is that where you mentioned the 3 items that we could spend it on?
yes, they're in the grant application. It's updating municipal codes, accessibility compliance, and a sewer system master plan update. And that's what the money will be spent for.
Yeah, and I wish it could be spent on
Mhm.
improving the building. Doing something
We'll
instead of,
get to that, Susan.
What?
We'll get to that with our insurance company, the discussion we'll have under city manager. So there's a lot to be had with the building, so that's not an agenda item at this point, so.
But you will get that, you will get a lot of information,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah, I just don't like spending money on studies and not doing anything with it. So that's
Yeah.
my general feeling.
Well, part of it was the restrictions of the grant, I believe. I'm sorry.
Can any of this be used for the sewer study? I understand we have to do a new sewer study.
I'm
update.
working with them trying, at one point they said they do it for free, so they did it for us before for free. And when I talked to them, what they had said was, and again, this is off agenda, so I have to be careful. What they said was it would just be a manipulation of certain numbers that they would recalculate and then give it back to us. And so again, we shouldn't have to do a new sewer study
New
because the
complete one.
information's already been done there, but I'm waiting on them to get back to me with the confirmation of that.
And just for clarification purposes, the most recent sewer study was 2022, so that's one of the reasons we're just updating by numbers versus completely redoing the
Right.
study.
Because those studies tend to go for 5 years.
Mhm.
So given the cost, but again, the reason why we were able to have the advantage of a free one is because we're a small rural community. And again, they look at us, understand that we don't have the infrastructure and the budget for a larger, more impactful study on our own.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that I ended up getting the FAST account set up for the small community grant.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got that set up, and we're at the stage now where we can submit plans
Mhm.
for our projects and budgets, so it's probably worth reviewing in detail about like what projects we want to submit. Study could be one of them, and also capital improvements. So I'm trying to figure out like what qualifies.
Mhm.
I still haven't figured out exactly, like I tried to figure out ahead of time if 9A
Mhm.
would qualify, and it wasn't clear, so I would have to do a little bit more research. But we also have like, I think 30 or 60 days or something like that,
Mhm.
after we end up paying invoice or something like that to submit the funds and ask for it to be granted to us. So
As
I
for
think there's,
reimbursement.
there's like a window that we can use. So I'm still trying to figure out what that window is, what qualifies as a project, and then I can also approve other people as delegates on the account. So if someone else is interested in applying for a FAST account, I suggest checking it out, and I can add you to the organization because we've gone through and added the organization to the state water control fund or whatever it is. And yeah, so that's something worth exploring, I think, as well.
Why don't we set up sort of a work committee for that, and there could be one other council member joining you, and we can open it up to general public if someone's interested, but that way you could be conversation and sort of working out details. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you back to the LEAP grant on that very line, understand that some of those LEAP grant funds that we've now been awarded have already paid for services. Then essentially it's reimbursement
Mhm,
for services the city has already paid for.
mhm.
So again, we can look into that further and explain that. So I'm not prepared to do that this evening, but again, it's nice to
Mhm.
finally have to pull us back to the grant.
Yeah,
We were under the direction of the previous mayor. She had approval from the LEAPS coordinator to say, go ahead and spend it, you'll be reimbursed. And so
so
that's
some
what we're
of,
looking for.
so some of this has been,
It has been.
Addressed.
So
Yeah.
some of that 65,000 has already been spent.
okay. And again, all right,
And do we have time to decide this, or do we have to decide it?
No,
tonight?
we don't. No, this is already, the council's already approved the projects that were applied for in the LEAPS grant. We already went through that process. It's now just informational that we actually finally have the approval letter. So no discussion tonight or no action needs to be taken
Okay.
as to what's actually occurring with the LEAPS grant. You have already done that.
Right.
yeah, we did it on a resolution and let's see, it's signed May 23rd, 2023. It just took them that long to give us our reward letter.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it took a long time, but it came through. So thank you, Dave. So we will be able to move forward on getting those reimbursements. So work with Holly on that. And you can recap some of that, Nico, when it comes up to council member report, and then we might be able to then act on, sort of getting. Like you and Susan and the sewer committee, sort of getting a committee to look some of this grant money that may be useful. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Towards that end, okay. Item 9D is donation to Amador City, discussion and possible action that Amador City establish a historical preservation oversight committee to make determinations on the acceptance, distribution, and accounting of a $3,500 donation for historical preservation / promotional causes. This is lengthy, from proceeds of Claudine Burnett's book, Amador City, A Haunting History. And an attachment was an email from Claudine. When Claudine wrote the book, and it's for sale in several of the stores in the museum in town, she designated a portion of the sales towards being money that she would be donating towards causes in Amador City. And she declines the privilege of deciding to which city causes the money will be donated. She would like to have a separate committee go forward on that. The things that would fall into this category would be things like the Powder House, the cemetery, possibly the museum, although the museum is already benefiting from her donation of books for sale in the museum. They get the total proceeds from that. It might also apply to some of the promotion of the city that would be, for example, and I'm going to bird walk back a little bit. Rand Huggett came and presented to us one time recently within this year, a proposal that he do a mural on one of our walls, somewhat akin to what he's done in the other incorporated cities in Amador County, with a strong emphasis on the walking map of the old town and the old buildings. And this is something that would also fall under that because it's historical, has to do with the city. But again, it would take a committee of a council member or two if two are interested, and someone in the general public to accept the monies from Claudine, to make the decision about which city historical committee properties would benefit from that money. And it could be divided up. It could be all to one of them. And so at this point, we are discussing possibly establishing a committee to assure that these funds are used as Claudine intended, and that there's accountability for that. Comment from the general public on that? Okay, comments up here.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
I think it's very generous of
It's
her.
very generous of
Mhm.
Claudine to
Mhm.
give us the money.
It is,
And
and,
a committee is the way to, you know, it's much easier than discussing it here.
oh, very much so. And this also would, take her out of the position of being lobbied. She felt very uncomfortable with that possibility. But the committee would report to her, and this probably wouldn't come in for till the end of this year for her.
So Sandy, let me ask, has the money already been given to the city or is it?
It's not been
contingent
given.
upon a decision by a committee?
No, the money, her email, and I think I put the copy in there. Looks like I'll have $3,500 to donate in November to the city for whatever historical preservation causes the city wants to help fund. We had talked about this earlier, she and I. I don't want to be the one to decide where the money should go. And then should the check be addressed to a particular fund or is just the city sufficient? So I think the committee can make those decisions and then we can go forward on that.
Is there a council member who wants to head that committee?
Let's give it to Anne.
I would be glad to be one of the people on that committee.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who would like to be on it or general public like to be on it? Bob? We will, I will find one of the committee members for the cemetery, one of the committee members for the Powder House, and ask them to be present, and then we can go from there. That would be, so, but we have not yet had a motion to form such a committee. That is on the table.
I move we form a committee.
Okay, we have a motion to form a historical preservation oversight committee to accept the donation from Claudine and make decisions upon those projects to which it'll be donated. It's been seconded. Roll call vote. Nico? Bruce?
Aye.
Susan? Motion is approved, and I will recruit community members affiliated with the historical projects to work with me on that. Thank you. Item 9E. Oh, let's see. Excuse me, I flipped the agenda. Resolution number 633. Discussion and possible action regarding the priority project for transportation improvement and verification of eligibility for California Transportation Commission's local partnership program. And the resolution was attached. This is connected to the Measure K that we passed last year for the 0.25% sales tax that will begin starting in January within shops, retail shops in town. And that opens up our eligibility as a city to be considered for, well, once our eligibility is verified, then we will receive $200,000 per year for 10 years for road improvement projects, transportation improvement projects that meet the criteria of this local partnership formulaic program, and opens up the door again for other grants, again, affiliated strictly with road improvement and maintenance. So this final resolution establishes, it's already been sent to California Transportation Commission, to the Department of the Local Partnership Formulaic Competitive Grant Program. We've had assurances that once this is submitted to them, which it will be on Monday, our eligibility will be established. So the resolution is required to put the exclamation point on our eligibility, and that is why it is in our packet at this time. Is there any discussion from the general public on that? Questions, thoughts? Committee, any, the city council, any comments or questions?
No.
No.
Susan?
No.
Okay. Again, this resolution at this point doesn't have any financial commitment from us, but the project does. We have a matching fund commitment when eventually we are submitting a project to them. Not a total matching fund of $25,000 over the course of the year of the entire project. So do we have a motion to approve the resolution number 633?
I'm tired of making the
Yeah, I'll
motion.
make a motion.
Okay, Anne will make it this time. Miko made it. Second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution
Sorry, who's
633.
your second?
Susan.
Okay.
Nico was yeah. And now roll call vote. Nico?
Aye.
Bruce?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Okay, motion is approved. The resolution, when Joyce is back, she will sign it with the city seal and send it off. Okay, we're down to item 10, administrative reports and comments. City manager report.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with today, based upon your resolution 633, we did meet with representatives from Weber Geo, council member Bragstad and Mayor Staples were there today along with myself. We did discuss the potential road projects and the direction we want to go. Initially, we had thought about maybe starting on the north end, given that the road itself
Of
is-
Main Street.
Of Main Street, yes, sorry. But Main Street is in much worse condition, but it actually was recommended to us to probably start on the south end because we will get more bang for our buck, because the likelihood of Main Street on the north end, although it needs more repairs, it's going to likely need additional improvements to not only hillside and drainage, but also curbing, which costs more money given the linear foot. So right now we have Larry White is working at Weber Geo to figure out the most likely solution that's gonna help us get the most done, given the installments of 200,000 per year. And to determine, based upon the health of our road, whether or not we can delay certain projects to meet the criteria. So again, you have to understand, with the bridge replacement a few years ago, that infrastructure centered in the center of town becomes our starting and our ending point for each project. Because again, it provides the most newest infrastructure and will not need replacement or refinement in any way. And so we're gonna look at that as a part of that. So again, I don't have those numbers. I can just tell you, like Eureka Road in Cedar Creek was recently done. And that contractor came in with a very low bid. And so they got more bang for their buck, to the point that they even actually were in trouble because they didn't spend all the money that they were given. So we joked with Weber Geo today that we want that contractor so that we can get more road completed. Again, the intricacies of that is essentially, the way that it'll happen is they will improve the surface of the road and then lay new asphalt on top of it. It won't be one of those situations where they grind down, because essentially our Main Street as it currently stands is the infrastructure, the asphalt itself. There's no underlayment because of these old roads. And so again, they're looking at that at the current amount. It looks at, we're looking about $1.2 million for completion of our entire Main Street from city to city limit. So again, they'll come back with those refined numbers, which that kind of gives you a concerned look.
What, do we get a raised crosswalk out of this?
Well, it won't change. It's just going to improve the structure. They'll paint new crosswalks most likely, but we probably won't get a raised crosswalk out of that. Again, at this point, this is all preliminary. So again, I just want you to know that that's essentially when you see these resolutions, those are the meetings that are taking place on my end to make sure that we're getting those projects completed. Again, we're the smallest incorporated city. We don't have that many roads. But
We have
when
11.
when we look at the roads in Amador City, the road that needs the majority of focus is of course our Main Street. So again, that's where that is. The next thing is I met with Larry White as well as his representative who has dealt with them in the past to go through and help cities like ours when we have a fire. So this is dealing with the building, because again, insurance companies can be a little bit tricky to work with. And so we had the representative from the insurance company here to evaluate the submittal or bid that we put forward for the repairs on this building. So essentially what has happened is we submitted all the different areas where we believe the building has either been affected by the fire, or the building needs to be updated to comply with current building codes because it doesn't currently go. And so the problem is the insurance company comes back and says, excuse me, we'll deal with the fire part. However, if you're asking for other improvement, that's a betterment. The problem is it's not really a betterment because any construction on that part of the building affects this part of the building Because again, it's simple things like the rafters that hold the roof up on our building. Again, they have to be within a certain diameter or a certain width, a certain length. Ours do not meet those conformable standards according to the building code. And so those things have to be replaced, which affects this side of the building. So initially, the insurance company came in, and as we met with them, they essentially said, we are not going to do a lot of those things because it's an improvement. We pointed out to them that it's not an improvement. They were actually very good with us with the report. The other thing that it works out to is those two apartments historically have been our low income housing. And with the housing element, we are required to have certain low income housing, which these will continue to have. And so with the help of our mayor who happened to be here, we were able to point out to the insurance company that requirement. So we're sending that requirement to the insurance company, which will then again bolster the improvements to this building. And so those improvements to the building, like windows and air conditioning and heating and insulation and proper code changes, like for instance, our bathroom in our hallway here, because of where it's situated in the building, has to actually be moved to comply with building code. So because the doorway sits where it is, that will no longer work because of the ramp that gives access into this area. So the door to that will actually be on this side of the building to allow access to the bathroom, which then will change the configuration of that apartment B. But all these things are being done in compliance. And again, the insurance company now isn't pushing back and saying betterment. And it looks like there's a good chance all those things that we submitted as repairs / improvements to get us to code, looks like they're going to do. So again, that battle that we've been fighting, it's like we probably have won at this point. And a lot of credit goes to Larry White to encouraging the insurance company and their representative to actually do a walkthrough instead of email and pictures to see what we're up against. So.
And I just wanted to say it was interesting. I was doing other work while that group was talking, and the insurance representative, once you had given the tour regarding what the hazardous material removal had done to the building structure, the conversation about whether or not the work needed to be done ended with that. It's like, oh, I guess it does need to be done. That was pretty impressive.
Sandy,
Yes,
can we go back to the road? I mean, you kind of didn't give us a chance to ask. the question.
sorry, go ahead.
Is this a fixed amount for a set section of roads? Or can some of that money be used for even the best roads to do like crack seals and stuff like that? Because some of the roads are not gonna be touched for 5 or 6 years. You hate to see them continue to deteriorate. I'm just kind of asking, do you have some flexibility in this?
We do, and that's why, sorry, to go back to that, we have Larry White breaking down. So let me back up a little bit. So ACTC, which is the Transportation Commission, who we've worked very closely with, recommended that we apply for a grant through RTMF funds about a little over a year ago. We applied for that grant. And what we did is we took our #1 project, which is Main Street, and said, hey, if we apply for this grant, this is the project we want to do. So we had applied for the grant, looked really good to be rewarded because of even the priority we have on county projects. And what happened is, in order to fit more projects in across the county to other cities, they actually kicked our project to another fund. And then that fund went to ACTC to be voted on, and former supervisor John Plath said, nope, we're not going to do Amarcord City's project. So we were under the belief that our Main Street was going to be improved. And then that 200,000 a year for 10 years was actually going to go to all our other roads and needs. And when we didn't get that, we're now having to reassess. However, to your point, Amador City about 10 years ago had a study done on its roads to determine the health. Amador City's roads minus our Main Street, which wasn't included. Actually, our roads are in fairly good shape. Out of 100 scale, we sit about 80. So there are some improvements, yes, Bob, that need to be done, like some sealing and some coating. Those are things that we are looking into. We're just starting with the Main Street here, but we have the report on all the roads from.
So Bradman can be applied to some maintenance on it. other streets that might be,
As long as it's transportation related, which those are, yes, they can.
okay.
So again, it's just a matter of assessing what's the greatest need and then figuring that out. So at this point, Larry White is looking into how do we, because we can't afford the 1.2 million to complete all of Main Street. How do we break it up with a $200,000 here? But then he also has a breakdown of the repairs needed for the other road, which I believe they came in at like, I think it was another like 700,000
Yeah.
if we were to replace all the other roads in Amador City. So we were looking at 2 million total.
Mhm. And they're with this, with the eligibility for, you know, this local partnership grant program, each project has to be submitted. So it's not a matter of them distributing the funds and then stating, use it as you wish. But over the course of time, you know, with this, we should be able to address some of that. Plus, we do have some other road fund that can be tapped into for minor things that are needed.
I just noticed last Chance Alley, which is a private road,
Mm-hmm.
came in and sealed their cracks, and I'm thinking, well, you know, we've got a bunch of cracks in our best roads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, I'm not a transportation person, but I would assume that helps keeping water.
It does, and I can tell you before COVID hit in 2021, when did COVID hit?
Mm-hmm.
2019.
And then
The end of 2019, so 2020 is when COVID hit. 2020 ACTC,
Mm-hmm.
along with myself and some others, we did a road analysis on all of the roads in Amador City.
We do
And it
have,
was based upon, at the time, the county was going for a 0.5 cent sales tax. And so what I sat on the committee that was for that, and I kept arguing for Amador City and its roads. Because again, the county had this report that said our roads were in such good health. I said, you haven't driven our roads, right? Come drive our roads. And what we determined was Amador City's Main Street was not included in that road study. Because when the road study was performed, that road belonged to the state. And so when that road got turned over, it lowered the health of our roads, which then triggered us to do the study of those roads and actually see. And so some of those cracks and those other things have been recorded. And we can show what the maintenance schedule should be on those roads based upon that report, the
And you could do
ACTC
that
has.
as the same kind as a major improvement.
Mhm.
And you don't have to hope that the bid will come in low and then you'll have a little bit of money to apply.
Well, this is where we have pushed Weber Geo whenever we do a road thing, is a lot of entities will do that. Hey, we'll just get the lowest bid and then go with it and then always come back and ask for more. We've been very good with Weber Geo to say, don't do that with us, give us the actual cost. So that we can present that as the cost, so we don't have to come back and ask for more. So you'll find that our studies on our roads, the costs are usually higher. Which in some ways drives individuals crazy, but is actually very fiscally responsible in the sense because we're saying this is what it's actually going to cost.
Mhm. I wanted to state also that our Main Street project for the RTM, for the Regional Traffic Mitigation Funds, that those projects will be opening up again. The request for proposals will be going out. And we are number 9 on the list for that. We are back in tier 1 and number 9 on that. So it would be prudent for us to tap into the skin in the game we have at this point to try again to get that.
Which we talked about today, and that's the step we'll take. Because it's very little to update our application to
Yeah.
resubmit it.
Mhm.
So anybody that was John Klassen wants to take him during lunch, take him to lunch during the vote, we more than welcome that.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we're gonna vote on it. Yeah, that'd be
I'm
good.
kidding, of course,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the other things I want to speak again to Weber Geo and how thorough they are, because the other thing they'll look into before segmenting the project for submission to this grant project as our nomination for the funds is looking at what are the plans for PG&E in terms of going underground with, you know, some of the wiring, because that would require digging up the road. So that if they have plans for doing that in any stretch of Main Street or any other outside utility doing that, that would be taken into account with how they approach the project. So, I mean, they are so thorough. It's really nice to work with them.
It is, and a good example is, I'm sorry, I don't know the street names in Sutter Creek, but
Mm,
if you come just right off of the bypass into Sutter Creek, right there by the high school,
mm,
there's that street that goes down by the football field.
mm.
Weber, that's a perfect example. Weber Geo worked with the school district to make sure that all the projects were completed prior to final pavement of that road, and it's a beautiful road.
Yeah.
So again, it was one of those things where if they hadn't, they would have laid pavement and then improvements
up.
would have needed to be done, and then they would have ripped it up again.
Mhm.
And the problem is with those projects, they normally don't repair the entirety of the road. They just repair the segment for where the repair is being, or the installation of infrastructure is being renewed or entered or constructed, so. And we have that with ours, so you're aware, this street outside School Street right here will be under construction in the future, probably in the spring, with updates to our water line. So we may work with that in connection with that, and it may affect even our Main Street project, which we're aware of and trying to make sure that we correspond and work together to get the best bang for what we're trying to get out of this money we're getting from the state.
Good. Good.
That's my report.
Well, thank you. And Susan, Dave talked about the apartments. Did he answer your questions with regard to getting those in adequate shape?
Here in this building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
So
Okay.
the one last thing I'll add to that is what it comes down to is if the insurance company isn't going to cover the repair, it's then on the city to do it, to bring it to code. And at this point, based upon the walkthrough with the insurance company,
Mhm.
the only thing that might fall under that is there was a closet space in this apartment that we may move, which again may be a little bit bigger. The city may be responsible for a tiny little amount. But for the most part, the majority, I would say about 98%, which is a moderate recommendation that the insurance company will cover it all. So,
Good. Good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dave. City attorney's report and comment. Anything?
The
Pat?
only thing I would have had would have been in closed session, which has not been pulled from the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should have talked.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Okay, we will. So you and I will talk afterwards. I think I was thinking of a different closed session. I'm sorry, Pat. All right, city council members' reports and comments. Susan,
No, I don't have any.
okay. Bruce,
Do we want to light our monument out here at the highway?
we do.
so yes, I'm sorry, I needed to get a hold of you today and I didn't see you. Ordered the batteries. So you found the batteries online?
Do we want to spend the money?
Yes,
Okay, how much are they?
200 apiece.
That's.
And are we protecting them from being stolen?
So
I suggested we put a little sign on the box. I got a new key for the box, so we lock the box.
So the recommendation from our insurance company, I can tell you this because I had that conversation, is they said drill 2 holes on the side of the box
Mhm.
and then get a bike chain and
Mhm.
run it, so put eyelets in those holes. And then put a bike chain around and lock it. They
That would
said
work.
that is the #1 deterrent to theft from battery boxes from what they found. So
We can do that.
that's
Keep them
yeah, so I can help you do that, Bruce.
I do have a comment.
Okay, good.
How do we keep our street signs from being stolen?
Are we having street signs being?
They're
stolen?
most of them are gone.
They are?
Yeah.
Cameras, I guess.
Let's do a tour and see which ones are gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, cause here's the thing, I know that Bruce knows this better than I, Pig Turd Alley is welded to the poles because it kept getting stolen all
Oh,
those
yeah.
years, so.
But the
Don't
problem
want
there
that
is
again.
really hard to paint.
It is,
Yeah.
but did you paint it recently?
No.
Dale did.
You put some stick-on lead.
Oh, is that what you did? Okay.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
Well,
Looks great.
he said he just doesn't want to
yeah,
stand out there painting. And
okay,
He said if it put it in his lap, he would do it.
Sure.
okay,
Anyway.
Yeah, most of the street signs are missing.
okay. we'll
That's a
do,
new development then.
okay, we'll do a walkthrough and see what's gone, okay, and document it, okay? All right,
Sorry.
thanks, Pat.
You're right. A couple of more things.
Good, go, okay.
Storm drains,
Mm-hmm.
we have anybody that can clean the drains, or do we clean them ourselves?
It's a great question. In the past, I believe that Ian has just cleaned them.
My understanding is if there's one that gets debris in it when there's a lot of rain and the rain water's being diverted, he will go brush it, wheelbarrow it out of the way, but he does not formally clean them.
Okay,
I mean, the only problems I've seen, well, there's
Mhm.
one on Main Street up there by the brewery
Mm-hmm.
that has,
is it
Yeah,
called?
that one does
well, it
back
has a
up.
bush growing out of it.
Well,
Oh.
that's just to be pretty.
purposes.
The worst ones I see are up
Mhm.
God's Hill Road.
Yeah, a few of those are
Mhm.
clogged.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
And the
there's one
rains.
place, there's a pile of leaves out in the street, just
Mhm.
waiting for a big rainstorm to wash it down.
Yeah, do we have any like street cleaning or any sort of like yearly debris cleanup for vegetation, anything like that?
We do fire mitigation. We do, some of that is for flood mitigation, and can we tap into anything for that?
We can if we've got somebody to normally, it's either we have Ian do it
Mhm.
on a limited basis.
Mhm, yeah.
Or it's the property owners, or it's a neighborhood cleanup. I know we've done that a lot,
Mhm.
where neighbors in that specific area will go and do like a Saturday afternoon and clean it up. I
Mhm.
know if we've got like green waste, that's the thing, we can haul the green waste to Sutter Creek.
Yeah, it's not just green waste, like there's just a lot of like rock and rubble. I know in God's Hill, there's
Mhm.
just rubble that have fallen onto the street and it's just. So, I'm sure that's not the only street.
Is that rock and rubble from the Rubello wall?
It's, no, I mean, it might be, like, I don't know where it came from, honestly, but it's just, I mean. It's pretty rocky up there, so
Mhm.
it's like just stuff that falls on the road. I don't think that's the only street that I've seen that has stuff on the road, like there's just like piles of.
It's the worst.
Yeah, that is the worst street, yeah, that is the worst street.
I drove all of them
Mhm.
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
Mhm.
Going up before the bin, there's a ton of vegetation on the road and rubble and just overgrown stuff, and so but I also did see Sutter Creek today cleaning all the gutters, they were pulling.
They have a full-time public works.
Yeah,
department.
the public works guys out there
Yeah.
working, so.
Yeah,
What about you guys that did the hillside here?
they're a landscaping crew. I don't know that they're seriously into, street cleaning. Sergio is, he is wonderful. I mean, but again, it's a matter of, do we want to go that route? To have an ounce, to hire somebody outside to clean up various streets? Do we need to do that?
Again, here's the deal, in my tenure working for the city. Also as on the council, it's never been something that's been brought up before.
Hmm.
So again, it's kind of a new area. So in the past, like I said, it's either been like neighbors that have gotten together and joined to do that. Or we can, I'm happy to talk to Sutter Creek and see if now do they have a vacuum truck that's?
No, they just have like a hook and they're pulling all the stuff off and pulling all the weeds out of it.
All the stuff out.
It was a pretty simple thing.
That's something we can talk about. We can talk about how we want to do it. I think what we should do is probably put that on the agenda for next month.
I remember Bruce Smith used to organize.
Bruce used to, but I don't think they went to that degree though,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I'd be certainly happy to help with a cleanup, but
Well, and I think that might be the most effective thing is just we organize a community, like we say, on this Saturday, we want everybody to come and help. And I know that's been effective in the past. So it takes the burden off the city and it kind of puts it on the individuals in that neighborhood, and it's a community thing, and I think. I don't know if they went this far, but I know that at one point someone talked about getting together with like donuts and coffee and juice and, meeting together and then hitting the projects for the morning on a Saturday and just getting it done.
we may have luck with that. Being the voice of doom here, and Bob and I and Bruce can attest to that. With the promise of donuts and water, we got 6 volunteers to come out and, that was it.
But
We
was
needed-
after the fire,
Yes.
but it was during the week.
It
That's
was.
the one thing,
Yeah.
is the successful projects have always been on a Saturday.
Mhm.
So, again, it's just something we can look at.
It also might just be a call to action, like,
Mhm.
clean out your storm drains in front of your house or something. When I lived in Sacramento, that's what they just asked people to go. There's so many drains and the flooding is such a big issue, so.
I think one of the things on God's Hill, well, of course, all the streets are pretty narrow, but with the traffic that goes up and down there, there are a good number of cars going up and down there now, and it's
Yeah.
narrow, so people are gonna have to pull over, and they're stirring up some of that debris as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of vegetation growth on that
Mhm.
street. I mean, it's kind of like a hobbit hole you like drive into, so
Mhm.
it's I mean, there's definitely some cleanup to happen on that road for sure.
Okay, what we also may be able to do is, if people clean up.
Well, again, it goes to this, and we can,
Uh-huh.
and as a city, this is the arm the city has. If it becomes a nuisance and someone isn't cleaning up their part of the street. Again, the street belongs to the city, but the property next to it is a private property. If the private property owner is not cleaning their street, then we can send them a notice. And if they don't respond to the notice, then we can clean that up and send them the bill or put a lien on the property. Again, that is the arm that the city has. So I know we are very slow to do that in Amador City. I know that other cities in the county as well as across the state of California, they're not so slow to do that. But again, the Amador City has taken the stance of we're a community, we help one another. So again, you have that option as a council to be aware of it, but it hasn't been exercised very often. Just put it that way.
We could send letters to all the property owners. Start that way.
I think we try, well, this will be on the agenda, Bob.
I queued up in front of mine and up the rock wall. And going back to the old minutes, I noticed that there's a liability disclaimer for working.
Uh-huh.
And that's a big issue with the street, I mean, especially Main Street, the way they fly up that hill. You've gotta consider that if you're gonna do a
Community.
volunteer.
Mhm.
community.
Well, absolutely.
And then the other thing that is, I've debated, where do you put this material?
Yeah.
I fortunately have a small section of city property that's up above the sewer pond, I dump it over there.
Mhm.
That's another issue, is
Mhm.
calling it a way of disposing of it, so. All good ideas, but,
So-
you know.
So I have made the offer in the past. Again, this is independent. This is just Dave, the resident. I've made the offer to the residents along Fleehart, and I'll make it to anyone else. If you wanna have a cleanup day, I'll bring my 5-yard dump truck. And we can, as long as it's greenways, you're welcome to put it in there and we can haul it over the hill to Sutter Creek. Which they're happy to take it.
Most of it is, I think what Nico said, is gravel and it's weeds.
Mhm.
Right now, a lot of stickers that I'm finding, and that's
Mhm.
what you're gonna deal with, so you gotta figure out a place to dump it, really, it just waste.
Keep it on the agenda.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
I'd be interested, like, how much would it cost to pay a street cleaner to sweep the streets like once a year or something, before it rains, or like, just like. A street sweeper would solve the problem, and it might be like a one-day gig for them, and, oh, yeah, well,
Well, in the past too, the other thing that the city has done is they have. Contact like the county services.
Yeah.
Their roads department, and they will come over and do it for a fee. So now whether they'll do it still is another question.
Mhm. And when?
Now, who are we paying to clean up the landscape here?
Sergio and his crew.
Sergio, yeah, Gutierrez Landscaping did it.
Yeah, could we engage somebody like that? Yes.
Well, that would be again, I think there are a couple, if we have this on the agenda and people do homework and bring information to that agenda item. Coming in with that information of what would the county charge?
So my
What
suggestion to the
a private
council is,
person charge.
like Nico, if this is something you wanna spearhead. I would recommend taking some pictures and submitting that to either myself or to the mayor.
Mhm.
So that we can include that in the packet for the agenda, because again, that's one of the things, like, I appreciate that Bruce has driven every street, but it probably. The majority of our population, which we're grateful that they're here, maybe has not driven up God's Hill or seen some of these other things, and so. You know, they're used to seeing what their street looks like, or Main Street, and they go, what's the problem there? Why is it a necessity? So the more information is provided, the better.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get that on the agenda.
Can I make one other comment?
Yep,
Some of the places it's 6 inches deep.
yeah.
It's not gonna, you're not gonna be able to bring equipment in and clean all this up.
Yeah,
Mhm. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
crew.
Years and years.
yeah.
Yeah,
For
so we
sure.
need crews for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. There's some big boulders
But it was all.
sitting out there too.
Yeah,
Like all leaves,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just,
Mhm.
So again, and I'll just say this too, again, there's the city owned property and then there's the private property. We have to be very careful.
Mhm.
As a government entity to not encroach upon the private property. Unless we go through the proper procedure.
what I saw was on city property, sure, the street.
Take a photo.
Where, like, where does city property start and private property start?
That's the hard part in Amador City. So what we can do is look at the plot map that we have. It's funny because it's so bad. I mean, a normal city, you have like a right of way on every street that goes to a certain length and then to the street. In Amador City, a lot of it is at the very edge of the roadway is the road, and then it's property there. Like, for instance, even in the creek, there's certain places in the creek where the city owns the creek. And then there's others where the map shows that the private property owners along the creek own to the middle of the creek. So again, there is no definite answer for your question. It's specific to each and every property. Sorry, I wish I could give you a better
Yeah.
answer.
But the street,
But
within the city boundaries, the street
But even some of
itself.
those, even some of those, if you look at the plot map, the property goes to the middle of the street on even some of them.
Some of them.
Yeah.
So when we get it resurfaced, do they have to pay that?
Good luck with that fight.
I'm just being a little facetious there. Needed, I have a little,
Dedication to those streets.
okay, little levity is
I
good
mean, It's
though.
not legally adjudicated, but it's there.
Yeah.
That happened with the parking lot out there that Hope Luxembourg had. I was
Mhm,
on the other side representing her in 1983 in a civil case.
mhm.
And it had been used by the public for so long that it was determined to be public. And the streets are all that way. If they're not actually dedicated, they're dedicated by implied public dedication and use. But I would say that's only to the edge of the improved portion. If it's not granted, and everything from that literal point
Mhm.
would be private property. If there were litigation to determine title, that's, I think, how they would find.
Does that answer your question?
If you guys need more, can I talk to you and Sandy?
Yep.
Or not? Yeah.
You sure can, okay. Okay, any more, Bruce?
Oh, yes,
Keep going, all right.
the pocket park,
Yeah,
we really need to replace some planks
it's
We
not
have
only the
holes.
pocket park, it's the in front of the
between the
museum.
museum and the brewery.
We do.
Can we just replace them?
Yeah,
I mean, is there more than just replacing, does there need to be improvement underneath the planks?
probably a little bit.
It's also true of the walkway in front of the museum. Couple planks there that are woo.
Right, but now when I walk on those, it just seems like they just need to be screwed down or secured a little bit better. The plank itself isn't bad. Has that changed?
I think I'm concerned that we are gonna hit a liability issue one of these days, because the tourists who go across there on the weekend, somebody is gonna either trip or fall, or it's.
And it could be rotted underneath
Mhm.
the decking.
Just close it off. No complaint.
But the
Okay,
pocket park. is
Pocket
just-
Park does
it's
have
just the back
gaps,
wall.
Oh,
holes.
in the back, okay.
Yeah, everything
But
else
if we just got new wood, like treated wood.
was treated wood.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
We could have
Polls.
somebody like Kevin Jennings look at it.
Yeah, I would say let's put that on the agenda
okay.
and have, I mean, if, again, Bruce, do you have any idea of what it might cost? I mean, is it?
No, I'm amazed with everything, what it costs now. I mean, it's-
I would say at this point, maybe Bruce, if it would be best, maybe since it's your item. Just if you have a contractor come and look at it and give us an idea of what it would cost to repair it.
Take photos.
Do you know Kevin Jennings? He lives here in town.
Mhm.
Kevin J.
I think he'd take a look and.
Or maybe Susan wants to contact Kevin and just say, hey, we'll come
Good.
look at it.
Okay.
Why don't we do that? Susan, do you mind?
No, well, I could contact him and then we could meet with Bruce.
That'd be good. So let's do that. So,
Okay,
and then depending upon the price, I would say at that point, then depending on that, we may wanna get bids, or we may wanna have it as an agenda item for improvement. I mean,
okay,
if we're talking a couple $100,
we can go.
just fix it, type thing. But if it's more than that, then we would likely want to have at least the council vote on it. That work?
All right, I'll check with you then. And what else?
Kathy Casello sent us
Mm-hmm.
something to print.
No, it was given to you, Kathy.
Questionnaire.
The questionnaire.
Questionnaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you
we
fill it out?
those out here?
Did
The
you
ones
already
we
fill
gave
it
to
out?
Joyce,
Yeah, that's done.
so we can ignore them.
Those of you who did it can ignore it. I think Nico and I were the only two who
did it.
didn't do it. I'm the
Yeah.
only one. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Did you send it now?
Yeah, it's.
All right.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Okay, and what else?
That's it?
Oh, good. Okay, Nico.
Yeah, I have a couple updates, I guess. The first update is we were able to acquire the amadorcity.gov domain.
This is
So,
nice.
Timothy set us up to, that domain now points to our website, so it just forwards traffic. So we're kind of free to come up with a plan of what we want to do with the domain. If people want to migrate emails, we can. If they want to continue using their existing email, that'd probably be fine as well, but the domain is in our possession. We have to add 2 accounts. We need a security contact and then a secondary owner, so we should probably add some more owners to the domain. Just as a backup. So that's the update with the domain. And then as I mentioned, I have a fast account and I created our organization.
Excuse me, can we go back to the domain for a second?
Yeah. Yeah.
Emails. Many of the council members use their own personal emails. Are you gonna switch over and we actually have a, email account for each individual?
We do have them, and sometimes, Bob, when you had my personal one for personal reasons, and I haven't replied using the city one, and so I will do that, I promise. And I can share all of the city emails with you now, and if they get migrated to the new domain, there'll be a seamless process for that, I'm hoping.
Yeah, we can set.
So I will just give them all,
On the domain?
I can give them to you tonight.
I'm concerned about the overall symmetry, but they wanted to send a note to you.
Mhm,
Like I'm sending a note to your personal one,
mhm.
but asking us about city business, and I thought that was kind of strange. So I was hoping with this new .gov, you could have a Susan Bragg staff email. If I had a question for Susan, I could send it straight to her. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The normal protocol, if there is one, is the first initial, then the last name at the domain.
And our current ones are our first name dot last name at amador-city.com.
Whatever you guys set up, as long as it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a full name.
Yeah.
Right now.
and we're limited. We all have them. Some of our council members don't check them. That's a different problem.
I don't, I just,
Well, we can set up forwards to your personal
Yeah.
email as well, so
Yeah,
that works.
That's what I
It's
have
just
done with
More
mine.
of a formality.
I think we, going forward, since we now have that, the city council members are listed on our city government webpage, but their emails within city governance are not next to their names. That our webmaster can take care of.
Yeah, maybe we should add the emails
Yes.
on there.
Yeah.
Yes, okay,
Standard.
and that will help with that issue. Okay,
Yeah, I think it gives the citizens here a little bit less transparency. They can contact an individual if they have a question.
mm-hmm,
And then if
Great, thank you.
mm-hmm,
if the individual council members have Outlook or something, you can just add the additional account so that it comes up and,
yeah,
shows up. It's easy to do.
it
Do
is,
it once.
Mhm. good,
Yeah, and then we took an inventory of the existing emails, so we might wanna take action on that.
Mhm.
Just by cleaning up some of the existing ones, adding new ones, setting up a migration plan to the .gov if we want to, and then pointing our website to the .gov if we decide to do that.
Okay.
So, but I think it's all pretty straightforward. It should just forward to the new domain.
well, and at this particular point, we already voted on and approved going to the .gov
Okay.
domain, so I
Yeah.
think we have permission to enact
moving
these,
forward.
keep moving forward on, so,
That sounds good.
so that, and what else?
Yeah, I got the Fast account, I
Mhm.
set that up, those are my only two
Mhm.
updates, I would like to bring a couple issues up, I guess. The first issue is, there's like a car that's like abandoned up there, I don't know if you guys.
The
talked about that.
Volkswagen?
Yeah,
I think that Volkswagen up there is on Hope's property.
Which, I'm, what are we talking
it's like
about?
parked, next to the park, well, the other park, the upper park.
Up,
Up
yeah,
there, is that the one where the lady's like avoiding
Yeah.
possession?
yeah,
It's
Is it
looking
a
pretty
convertible?
bad, yeah, no, I don't know if it's, I don't know.
I'll go up and look tomorrow.
okay,
So, and
Mhm.
that's the case, we can have the sheriffs come and tag it. And then
Yeah.
have it towed, but I know at one point there was, Ann was fully aware of it, and so I didn't deal with it, but there was a lady that was. Living in the mine house that was avoiding.
oh, no, it's the other side,
I know, but she was hiding her vehicle over.
oh, that one, okay.
Yeah,
It hasn't moved in probably 2 or 3 years, I mean, I imagine.
Yeah, it's been there a
it's looking
while,
pretty
and I've
bad.
walked up and
Yeah.
looked, and it's real close to Hope's property.
is there a license plate on it?
I can't remember.
So what I'll do is I'll call the sheriff.
Uh-huh.
And have them either run the license plate or the VIN, and we can figure out who the owner is. And if it's anybody in the area, then we can
Contact them.
contact them and figure that out. I
Okay,
think I have seen it, yeah,
okay,
so. Is it parked, is it in the pocket park, or is it in the,
above,
Yeah.
is it in the
It's
park, or is it on Kevin's property?
no,
It's not,
it's
okay.
above Kevin's property.
It's near the park.
Yeah, the house that's existing up there, that, you know, that, not the house that was knocked down, the one above that one.
Right,
And then there's like flat area to the south of that, it's on the edge of that south area before the
that's
trees.
probably, that could be the park,
Yeah, it looks.
that's Colbert Park up there, it could be on
Oh.
Colbert Park, which means it's on city property.
Yeah.
Okay.
City property.
Okay,
Yeah, it's been sitting there. It's.
Because Hope doesn't, if it's on this side of the fenced area. That's Colbert Park, and that's city
Oh.
property.
okay,
Yeah, we won't get started on that whole discussion of.
no, let's not go there.
But we can definitely have.
Okay,
I'll take a look tomorrow.
okay.
I
So
do
they
think
will
we
do
should
that.
eventually talk about that park, at a different meeting when we have more time, but I'd like to know more about the history of that park and what's.
I
going
can
on up
give
there,
you a
so-
lot of that, we
Okay.
can meet,
Okay,
That's
so you come prepared.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
So I would say the two of us get together and have that discussion.
okay, yeah,
You'll love it.
I have some ideas about what's going on up there, but, yeah, it's looking pretty bad, and, I don't know what we can do about it, but.
Okay, well, we will set up a meeting with you,
Okay, perfect.
perfect.
The
Okay.
other issues that they're like along the street when you're coming down 49 on the
Mhm.
right hand side, there's the creek right there, and there's all these fallen branches that are on the electrical wires. I don't know if those are electrical.
They're not
wires.
electrical, they're telephone.
They're tough.
And I've actually at one point I contacted PG&E just to make sure.
Yeah,
PG&E came out, and looked, so they're not ours.
Comcast or.
It's Comcast, AT&T,
Mhm.
and it's really up to them to come and clean it, so.
Isn't some of that old Pac Bell lines?
It's OPAC, it is, they're not active
Yeah,
anymore,
no,
they're
not.
OPAC Bell.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what nobody cares.
uh-huh.
That's because nobody's heard Pac Bell for like
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
years.
But when we get folks who are coming into town, they're parking, walking String Bean Alley and around, and if they're not local from this area, I've had like 4 calls this year. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? It's gonna take those wires down.
Okay,
So I think they're the pack balance.
okay. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it or, you know, I.
It's been
Somebody's-
years.
It's, that's the thing though, even if it's Pac Bell, somebody still has that easement, and so we should have the ability to look up and see who has it.
Okay.
See if there's anything that can be done.
And
Okay, we'll look into the easement. Got it.
Yeah, there's always, any line like that's gonna have a utility
Yeah,
easement.
okay.
So, but then the other thing that goes with that, again, if it's not ours and it's Hope Luxembourg's property, good luck, right? I mean, it's just, she's gonna say, not my problem, don't worry about it, and unless we go the nuisance route, not much we can do there, so.
We'll look into whose property that is, and if there's an easement. Okay, I got it down. Okay, I just have report on meetings I've been to in the past month. Tuesday night, I went to the Sutter Creek Fire Protection District board meeting, and had the opportunity to view their operations report on the fire, and it was really impressive. The first responder was Chris, the Sutter Creek Fire volunteer fire person, who took the truck and was on the site within 4 minutes of the call going out alone. And I mean, that's how they train, and that's what they train for, because it's how volunteer fire departments work. And he got the hookup, the water on it before any other truck had arrived. So it was a pretty impressive report. They went through all of the details with regard to the other agencies who came to support them and to restrict that fire to that single dwelling, single building. But in any event, it was pretty nice. And they also are using techniques at this particular time, as opposed to say on TV, where you see the fire people in their back on the hoses, the big hoses, and they've got 5 people holding it and firing from a distance. That isn't the current policy. They take smaller lines and go into the building, and that's what they were largely using. And again, it was one of the first times all of the fire agencies had been doing that in unison here, and it was pretty nice. Secondly, the ACRA, the Amador County Regional the Amador County Recreation Agency, Ione has pulled out of that process. So the entities that are paying the fee for ACRA and for the residents within their area to participate in ACRA events and pay just a small fee for them, are Jackson, Amador City, Sutter Creek, and Plymouth at this time, and the county. And Ione has pulled out and wants to do their own recreation programs. They've come up with a surcharge at this particular time, just in fairness to the other residents of the other entities. So residents of Ione who want to participate in ACRA events are going to be having a surcharge. So that will be going forward. They also have a new adult special events coordinator, and some of the additional activities that they're planning are softball leagues, co-ed baseball leagues for adults, more pickleball leagues, and specific classes on yoga, knitting, painting, and crochet. Just reporting. This coming Wednesday, the bicycle and pedestrian project that Susan and I are both on is going to be having a field trip with ACTC and Sutter Creek. We're going to be walking the path that our resolution approved in the September meeting, and looking at where signage needs to be placed. The signage is limited to bike route and share the road. And we'll be looking at where in Amador city limits there might need to be signage, where within county, where within Sutter Creek. And we'll know more about that. Will be information we will get back with regard to, if we go forward, what is our cost as a city? This will be that step, what that signage is, right, Susan?
And it'll include beacons too.
Beacons will go to the county.
Yeah.
All we care about is the little bit of signage that's going to be ours.
Yeah.
But you're right, that is what they'll be looking at. Also, this is just kind of an announcement. AAUW will be hosting a panel discussion about women in elected office on Saturday, October 26th at 2 p.m. at the Giles Turner Performing Arts Center at the Amador High School. On the panel, Mayor Marian Ackerland of Plymouth, Mayor Claire Gunselman of Sutter Creek, California State Senator Alvarado Gil, and me. So please all come out. Yes, and it'll be a panel. The high school government classes are getting extra credit for going and even more extra credit for asking questions. So we'll see how that goes. So with that, we've got future agenda items, any further agenda items that might need to be added. If something occurs to anyone, email me, we'll get it on, and meeting's adjourned. So we can talk.